Hello and welcome to Is It Spooky? A show where we investigate paranormal, creepy, and truly bizarre people, places, and things. All the nouns, and at the end we will decide whether our subject is spooky or not so spooky. Haven't been around for a while. If you're new here, welcome. If you were subscribed like 3 years ago when I made 14 videos, welcome back. All right, shall we? Today, we will be investigating the case of the Winchester Mystery House. Come along as we explore and answer the question the world needs answered. Is it spooky? The Winchester Mystery House, located in the beautiful city of San Jose, California, is a sprawling and peculiar mansion known for its bizarre architectural features and eerie history. It was once the home of Sarah Winchester, the widow of William Wirt Winchester, the heir to the Winchester Repeating Arms fortune. Sarah Lockwood Pardee, who would later become Sarah Winchester, was born in 1839 in New Haven, Connecticut, into a well-respected and prosperous family. Her father, Leonard Pardee, was a successful carriage manufacturer, and her mother, Sarah Burns Pardee, ensured the family was part of New Haven's elite social circle. Sarah was the fifth of 7 children, and from a young age, she was known for her sharp intellectual and cultural sophistication. Growing up in a wealthy household, Sarah had access to the finest education available for young women at the time. She attended the prestigious Young Ladies Collegiate Institute in New Haven, where she excelled in her studies. She was proficient in multiple languages, including Latin, French, Spanish, and Italian, and was also a skilled musician, particularly in piano. Her education, combined with her social standing, made her a prominent figure in New Haven's high society. Her beauty and intellect made her one of the most sought-after young women in the area. It was during this time that she met William Wirt Winchester, heir to the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, one of the wealthiest and most powerful families in Connecticut. The two married in 1862, and her life took a major turn as she entered into a world of even greater wealth and prominence. So Sarah's living her best life. She grew up in Connecticut. She went to the best schools. So she is set up for success. And she didn't expect what was to befall her later. Despite the joyful beginnings of her marriage, Sarah would endure deep personal sorrow in the years that followed. But her early years were a time of relative peace, education, and promise. William Wirt Winchester was born on June 22, 1837, into one of the most prominent and wealthy families in America. He was the only son of Oliver Fisher Winchester, a successful businessman who founded the Winchester Repeating Arms Company, which would later become one of the most famous firearm manufacturers in the world. William also grew up in New Haven, Connecticut, in a privileged environment. His father's growing wealth from various business ventures, particularly firearms manufacturing, allowed William to enjoy an upper-class lifestyle. He was well educated, though much of his early life remains largely undocumented compared to his later years. He eventually joined his father's company, learning the family business and preparing to inherit what would become a firearms empire. The Winchester Repeating Arms Company became wildly successful due to the invention of the Winchester rifle, often referred to as the gun that won the West. Wait, I can't do that. That's okay. We won't do that anymore. That's Barb. She's a silly goose. You might hear the rain happening too. There's a lot of rain happening that I'm sure the mic is picking up, which... that's fine, quite honestly. I love the sound of the rain, so. In 1866, their only child, Annie Pardee Winchester, was born, but died just a few weeks later from a condition called marasmus, a form of severe malnutrition. The loss devastated both William and Sarah, and they never had more children. In 1884, William's father, Oliver Winchester, passed away, unfortunately, leaving the company in William's hands. However, William's time at the helm of the company would be tragically cut short. Only a year later, William died of tuberculosis at the age of 43. So this is just a rapid succession of losses for Sarah. I feel bad. His untimely death left Sarah a widow, and she inherited his vast fortune, which included 50% ownership of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company and an income of approximately $1,000 per day, equivalent to over $25,000 today. Whether his premature death also played a pivotal role in shaping the life of his widow Sarah Winchester, whose grief and subsequent obsession with spiritualism and the construction of the Winchester Mystery Mansion would come to overshadow William's own story. Following these losses, Sarah's life took a strange and mysterious turn. It is said that her grief led her to seek out spiritual guidance from a medium in Boston. According to legend, the medium told her that the spirits of those killed by Winchester rifles were haunting her, and that they would seek vengeance unless she built a house that would never be finished. The constant construction, the medium suggested, would appease the restless spirits and protect her. Sarah moved to San Jose, California in 1884 and purchased a small farmhouse. Over the next 38 years until her death in 1922, she used her vast fortune to turn the house into a sprawling 160-room mansion known today as the Winchester Mystery House. The mansion meandered haphazardly with stairs leading nowhere, doors opening into walls, and secret passageways supposedly to confuse the spirits that followed her. The house grew continuously, day and night, with strange, nonsensical features. Others speculate that Sarah's grief, combined with her immense wealth, drove her to an obsessive pursuit of building with no specific plan in mind. The Winchester Mystery House has long been associated with ghostly legends and eerie occurrences. Here are some of the most famous ghost stories tied to the Winchester Mystery Mansion. The ghost of Sarah Winchester. Many believe that Sarah Winchester's spirit still roams the house she spent decades constructing. Visitors have reported seeing a shadowy, cloaked figure they believe to be Sarah herself, wandering the halls, especially in her favorite seance room, where she allegedly communicated with spirits to receive building instructions. Some say they've seen her peering out of the windows or heard faint footsteps echoing through the house, as if she is still overseeing the never-ending construction. The unfinished ballroom. The Grand Ballroom, an opulent and unfinished space, is said to be a hot spot for ghostly activity. Visitors often report hearing strange organ music playing from inside the room, even though no organ is present. Some have also seen ghostly figures dancing or heard the soft sounds of a party, as if spirits from the past are continuing to celebrate there. The Wheelbarrow Ghost. One of the more commonly reported apparitions is that of a man believed to have been a laborer during the house's construction. This ghost, often referred to as Clyde or the Wheelbarrow Ghost, has been spotted by staff and visitors, seemingly hard at work. Witnesses describe seeing him in the basement, pushing a wheelbarrow filled with coal or wandering the grounds in workman's attire. Some speculate that Clyde is one of the many workers who helped build the house and remains tied to the mansion, continuing his duties in the afterlife. Cold spots and unexplained noises. Throughout the house, particularly in certain rooms and hallways, visitors frequently experience unexplained cold spots, sudden drafts, and strange noises. Footsteps are often heard in empty corridors. Doors creak open and close on their own, and knocking sounds echo through the walls. Some have described hearing whispers or hushed conversations despite being alone. The ghostly handprint. In one of the most eerie tales, visitors have reported seeing a mysterious child-sized handprint appear on one of the windows. The handprint is said to vanish and reappear, defying any rationale. The identity of the supposed child spirit remains a mystery, but some speculate that it could be Sarah's daughter Annie, who died in infancy. Mysterious lights. During nighttime tours or after-hours events, people have reported seeing lights flickering in rooms that are otherwise empty. Windows will glow with soft light, but when staff check the room, there is no source for the illumination. These unexplained lights seem to move around the house as the spirits are still living there, lighting their way. The seance room. Perhaps the most notorious room in the mansion, the seance room, is where Sarah Winchester allegedly communicated with the spirits that guided her construction of the house. Visitors have reported an oppressive atmosphere here, with some claiming to feel dizzy or overwhelmed as if they're being watched by unseen entities. Others have heard disembodied voices, especially at night, echoing from behind the walls. The door to nowhere. One of the most iconic oddities of the house is the door to nowhere, a door that opens onto a sheer drop several stories down. Legend has it that Sarah created this and other confusing architectural features to baffle spirits who might try to follow her. Some visitors claim to feel an inexplicable chill or sense of danger when standing near this door, as if the spirits are still lurking just beyond, waiting for a way in. The spirits of the workers. In addition to Clyde, there are many reports of ghostly laborers continuing their work on the house. Visitors and staff often hear hammering, sawing, and other construction sounds long after the house has been silent. The theory is that the spirits of the workers who built the house are still bound to it, eternally trapped in their unfinished tasks. The third floor apparition. On the third floor of the mansion, a female figure is often seen floating in and out of rooms. She is described as wearing an old-fashioned Victorian dress and sometimes walks through walls. Some believe this apparition could be one of the housemaids or even Sarah herself. These ghost stories, combined with the bizarre architecture and history, have made the Winchester Mystery House one of the most haunted locations in the United States. Believe it. You don't believe it? Well, believe it. Believe it. Because it is. Parents. Supposedly. Allegedly. It is. Put that in your chimney and light it on fire. Whether or not you believe in the hauntings, the Winchester Mystery House remains an architectural marvel steeped in intrigue and mystery. It's mysterious. Very mysterious. While the house is now largely a museum, the fascination with Sarah Winchester and her reasons for building the mansion remain unsolved. Theories about why she created such a strange and sprawling home continue to fuel debate among historians, architects, and paranormal enthusiasts. Was it truly an attempt to escape these vengeful spirits? Was it a reflection of her deep grief? Perhaps it was simply an eccentric obsession. The mystery is part of the house's enduring appeal. It's not a bad looking house. I mean, it's not ugly. Quite honestly, it's kind of like one of those houses in like 7th grade, you like build the floor plan for your dream house. That's exactly, she just had a lot of money and wanted to, maybe she still had the floor plan from 7th grade. You never know. You don't know. In fact, the unusual design was not uncommon at the time. Elizabeth Colt in Hartford constructed a home over many years that was described as rambling and asymmetrical. Homes being constructed in San Francisco were described as crazy quilts being patched together. She focused on her construction instead of giving in to local rumors and insults. She kept tradespeople working during the many years the house was constructed. She had several stained glass windows throughout the home, beautiful stained glass windows, but some had a little bit of a spooky motif. Spider webs throughout the home. She just loved a spider web. I mean, stained glass spider web. She was probably very clean, I'm sure. There's also the conundrum of the 1906 San Francisco earthquake. It's unknown if Winchester was at her home during the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, but it did cause tremendous damage to the building. Just prior to the earthquake, based on letters to her lawyer, Winchester was at her home in Atherton. Damage to her home included a 7-story tower, the 3rd and 4th floor additions, and most of the chimneys collapsed. So yes, Sarah Winchester was an avid architect who had extravagant tastes, and yes, she was doing as she pleased with the money that she had. I think that despite arguments to the contrary, the mystery and enigma surrounding the tragic life and losses of Sarah Winchester are enough to mark this case spooky. Until next time, Barb and I will see you later. Don't forget to subscribe and like for the algorithm. People say that sometimes. So if you would, I would love that. Barb would love that. My Paddle would love that, and so would all the fake plants around me. So, thanks.